Hey guys, it's Sammy here, and we are live for tonight's interview with Meg of Meg Thrifts. I am so excited for this because, first of all, this woman, I'm going to give you guys a little bit of background about how I met her before she jumps into tonight's live. But this woman has been following me on Instagram. Hey Meg, I see you. I will add you in a second, but I'm going to talk about you a little bit before I bring you on. So this woman has been following me on Instagram, and when I did a shout out about people, or basically asking for suggestions of resellers who are using Instagram very wisely to direct traffic to their resale channels or to sell via Instagram, Meg DM'd me and was like, I do that. And then I went and I totally spied on her feed and just noticed how fantastic her presentation is, how seamless everything is, and just the fact that she's been able to build this basically part-time resale business. She's also a student. She's going to talk to us more about that tonight. And she's done it just in a really, really smart fashion. And I know that you guys are going to take a lot away from what she's going to share tonight. Hello, Deirdre. Thanks for tuning in. So Meg, if you guys aren't following her already, I know I promote, but go over and follow her, Meg Thrifts. That's M-E-G Thrifts. She is coming at us from Raleigh, and I am just so excited to chat her face off and finally meet you, Meg, because I know we've only been chatting over DM. So Meg, I see that you requested to join, so let's cross our fingers with the thrift gods here, or the tech gods. All right, Meg, I am adding you now. All right, here's this all works. And if you guys have questions, remember to ask them in the comments.
Hi.
I think we're connected. Hi.
How are you?
We're good.
It worked. Yay.
Welcome to the Facebook Live.
Thanks. Happy to be here.
Oh, was that like a Facebook Live dance? Like I'm on?
Yeah. I've been practicing.
It's awesome. Yeah, you know, it doesn't happen every time, but every so often it's really hard to bring someone on a Facebook Live. So that was super easy. So
Yeah. I've never done it before, so.
Yeah, I know. It's an incredible piece of technology because here we are together, but you're in Raleigh and I'm in New York.
Crazy.
We're together. Yeah. So Meg, first of all, I want to thank you for just saying yes, because as I was sharing with the Thrift Boss babes, you and I have just known each other for like a few weeks on Instagram. And when I did that shout out, I think I did it a couple of times actually. I was like, can people recommend amazing people on Instagram who are reselling through Instagram to me because I don't know who they are? And you were like, hi. And I was like, oh, hi. Yes. And you are just killing it. And then I just learned, I think from you, are you a student or are you going back to school or like what's your situation?
Yeah. So, well, I just took a class. So like yes and no. I graduated already from NC State, but I just finished a class I took online for a certification.
Oh, okay.
So, but now I'm done with it. Super happy. But I'm actually a teacher, so I'm in school. I'm in a school every day. So
seriously, so you're teaching and you're learning and you're reselling.
Yeah, lots of stuff.
And you're looking fabulous because I have spied on you enough. I'm just like, this girl is the most fabulous person in Raleigh. No offense to people in Raleigh. Which
actually, there's not that many fabulous. No, I shouldn't say that.
No, there are. Face. That was hilarious.
No.
So Meg, tell us a little bit. Let's jump right into things. How did your thrift journey begin? Tell us in the very beginning. I like to hear people's life stories.
Life story. Oh man. I've been thrifting basically my whole life, and that's thanks to my mom. She would take me all the time, and it was just a normal thing for me. Like, we just go thrifting, and that's what we do. So I just grew up thinking that's what everybody did, you know, but apparently not.
You thought it was normal. It's far from normal.
Yeah. So, and I just kept it a habit. At thrifting and yard sales, and not only was it normal, but it was like a fun thing. Like, it was exciting. Like, we get to wake up super early on this Saturday and go yard sale shopping. So it's always been something fun and something normal for me. And yeah, I've just kept doing it my whole life.
Amazing. Okay, so the question is, does your mom thrift with you still?
She does. Yeah, she loves to take me. Yeah.
That is so
fun.
Cool. That's such a bonding activity. So you've been thrifting your whole life. Have you lived in Raleigh your whole life, or did you recently move there?
Yeah, I've been here my whole life, and I went to NC State, which is literally 15 minutes away. I have been here my whole life.
Amazing. I applied to
hmm
Chapel Hill and they rejected me.
Really, they reject a lot of people.
They
So
reject a lot of people. I don't know. I don't know what they were
I don't
thinking.
like Chapel Hill, so you should be happy.
You don't like Chapel Hill? Cool.
We're like rivals. They say we're not,
Oh,
but
okay.
yeah.
Awesome. Okay. I'm totally on your team. So,
Good.
okay. So, all right. So you obviously have as we just discussed, you've lived in Raleigh your whole life. So
hmm
obviously the thrift game's pretty lit there. We do have a few people from North Carolina in thrift babes in
Cool.
particular, a lot of people in Atlanta, which I know is further south,
Oh
but
yeah,
tell
yeah.
us more, what I noticed about you, and to everyone who's popping in, we have a pretty healthy amount of thrift babes in right now. Go follow Meg at Meg Thrifts. What I noticed about the Meg Thrifts handle is that it's perfect. Like I went all the way to the bottom. Like if you go
Oh
on my
wow.
Instagram, I have like 8,000 photos. Like some of them are when
Uh-huh.
I was like 25. Like I don't even, they're like there. I don't know how to delete them. But you have a
Yeah.
perfect Instagram handle. So did you start that for your business, or have you like sort of cleaned it up? Like, can you explain to us how Meg Thrift's Instagram handle was born?
Yeah, so it's actually I made it specifically for
Okay.
thrifting, like posting my thrift outfits. I have a different account that's my personal account, and I made
Okay.
this one like actually not that long ago, like less than a year ago, like February, I want to say.
Yeah.
And I made it basically because I wanted to show, like, I guess I like fashion a lot, obviously. So, and
Obviously.
I put a
Yeah.
lot of thought and effort into my outfits and in my thrifting, and then
Mm-hmm.
I felt like I would put all this effort in and then I would just like go to work and go home. So I wanted to share and like I
Yeah.
wanted people, and also I didn't want to put it on my personal account because I felt like maybe not everybody wanted to see my outfit every day. So I made a separate account um, for it. And I honestly didn't think anyone but my friends and my like mom's friends would follow me. But
Really?
yeah. And I
And
did the
this
same thing
is,
when I got a dog because I didn't think everyone, well, if you don't want to see dog pictures, then
oh, I
that's
do
another
like your dog.
issue.
Wait, do you have
But
a golden retriever? Yeah.
yeah.
Super.
So he has his own account too.
He has his own account. Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Yeah. So I
So,
just separated it. So
mhm. So you started make thrifts to share your outfits, but
hmm
now I'm pretty sure it's mostly outfits for sale, right? It's mostly
yeah,
what you're
yeah.
selling.
hmm Yeah,
Cool.
so mostly, yeah. I've kind of, at first, I didn't think of doing that. Honestly, it just wasn't in my mind, but I was reselling at that time. I've been reselling since I was in like middle school. Just always been doing it.
Hmm.
But I just didn't think to do that because I didn't think many people would follow me, first of all. And so I thought of later, like, oh, maybe I could kind of promote my selling. But I didn't. So I had started it already and I had gained kind of a good amount of followers
Got it.
on the fact that I was a person who's just posting my outfits. And I didn't want to like suddenly seem like, okay, now like that you're following me, I'm gonna sell you things, you know. I wanted to stay who I am and promote in a more subtle, like a subtle way, you know.
Right, which we'll
So
talk about later in
yeah.
this interview because you do such a good job of it. Okay, so cool. So um, this is great because the more that I talk to people during these interviews, I get more information. Like sometimes I think to myself, maybe I should talk to them for half an hour for the interview, but I like to learn in the moment because then I get excited,
Yeah.
like, and you can generally see it. So I started reselling in middle school too, but my middle school
Really?
was
Oh wow.
probably, you might not have even been born yet. I don't even know. Because I started selling on eBay in 2002, 2002.
Oh
And I remember being like, I don't know what I'm doing, but I just sold a pair of Pumas to Germany. I don't know what I just did. So explain to
amazing.
us then how you started, just so that we have a little bit more information, how you started in middle school, but then also why you use Depop, because we have not
Oh yeah.
in any shape or form covered Depop. I've actually never even purchased an item from Depop, so I really
Oh
don't know
wow.
that much about it.
Right.
Yeah.
So I started on eBay too. I feel like
Cool.
that was just kind of like the
Everyone
one
does.
thing back in, yeah.
That was
And
it. eBay was it. Yeah.
yeah, that was
Just like
it.
that.
And
Yeah.
now it's like I feel like not as many people use it, which is like wow, like that was my
Right.
day one, you know, but
Right. Like
yeah,
the
so I
OG.
just Yeah, really.
Yeah.
I still use it sometimes, but eBay, yeah, I started there and it was mainly just me like being a kid and like
Hmm.
cleaning out my closet wanting to make extra money. But then I just kept
Right.
doing it and kept doing it. And honestly, I enjoy it. And I mean, making money is fun, but I also just enjoy doing it.
Yeah.
Um, so Depop, I is also another thing. It's what I sell on primarily now,
Okay.
but it's weird because it's the one that I like kind of most recently started using. So I used eBay and then I used Poshmark, and it was just those two for a while. And then I discovered Depop, and I also am on a few other apps, but like
Okay.
mainly Depop, and partially because I like it the most, and partially because it legitimately like the vast majority of my sales come from there. So
Wow.
yeah.
What do you like? Like, how does Depop compare to other platforms, and what do you like
Mm,
about it? I don't think if anyone here is selling on Depop, who's watching, comment because I'm curious.
yeah. Yeah, I like it. I think it's really unique. It has a similar feel to Instagram, which I like. It's
Okay.
like scrolling through a feed almost, and you can like things, which kind of saves them, and it like learns your preferences and gives you, I guess most apps do, they learn your
Mm.
preferences and suggest things. So
Mm-hmm.
it does that with your likes. And I do like the Instagram feel and having a feed, and I can go through and like organize it. If you get on your computer, you can't really, I don't know if you can do it on your phone. I haven't figured out how, but I can make it look pretty, which I enjoy.
Right. So you can
You
change
know,
the
like,
grid of your
yeah.
resale shop so that it's aesthetically
Mm-hmm.
pleasing.
Yes. And
That's
it's
cool.
also, I like it. One of the main things, and maybe, I don't know exactly why I make so, probably it's connected to my Instagram, but I make like most of my sales there. Um, And I think one reason could be that you can control the shipping, which I really
Mm.
like. I can just click like I will do the shipping and then legitimately charge the bare minimum that I possibly can because I don't like paying more than I need to for shipping. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't want other people to. And I can even make shipping free and just factor that into the cost. So I
Right.
think
Which you
that's a
can't
big
do with Poshmark.
thing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
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 So yeah, I
And
like
and
that.
Depop, like I mean, I say historically, I think the app is like 5 years old. I should actually
Yeah.
really Google that. I actually almost met with them in London, guys. But
Oh,
I had so much drama happen. I don't know if you know, Meg. I thrifted all of Europe in May,
I
and
saw that. Awesome.
and I had the chance to like meet like Depop at their headquarters in London, but like so
Wow.
much stuff hit the fan before I left for London.
Um,
Yeah, before I got on the flight to London and then Europe, that like I didn't follow up, so I couldn't meet them. But
right.
I do know because a great article just came out in the New York Times all about Depop that it's historically, again, quote unquote, for 5 years, it's
Yeah.
really catered to the under 27 market. Do you
Hmm.
find that to be true? And then, like, how do your pieces speak to that market, would you say?
Yeah. I would say it's definitely younger people on there.
Yeah.
And I know that, so I like the things I sell. I do sell some things that, like sometimes I sell some of my mom's clothes, and
Mm-hmm.
I sell those on Poshmark because you just have to know that it's different audiences, you know. Um, And yeah, so it's a lot of young people and they're all very creative and they have these like really, really cool pages that just look super
Yeah.
pretty and coherent, and it's just a really cool, unique community. So yeah, it connects well with my Instagram too. So because they look similar and
Yeah.
yeah.
So let's talk about your Instagram. Why do you feel that you get so many sales? Like if you were to kind of talk to someone here like one on one, like, okay, this is why I'm successful on
Right.
Instagram, leading people to Depop, and this is what maybe you should. It's all what people should consider doing because we all have different
Mhm.
strengths, and some of the things that you do other people can't, and some of the things they do you can't just because it's not a strength. But how do
Mhm.
you do what you do and make it work for you and your audience?
Yeah, so I think that it's funny because I think one of the main reasons why what I do works is
Yeah.
because it's not what my plan was, you know, to begin with,
Really?
you know, because
Yeah.
I didn't make the account to sell, and the fact that my account is still not like marketed, like shown as like this is a person who's selling, like that's not like my purpose, is
Yeah.
why it works, which is kind of ironic almost. Um, And I don't know if I would suggest people in like putting off the persona that they're not there to sell, but secretly are, because that's kind of like, I just feel like people have like a big BS like meter, like everyone has one, and people can see that, you know?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, especially on social. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So I think just I gained a large following, and I think that people like my style, and they kind of trust me. Like
Hmm.
they've seen what I post, and they're like, okay, like she has a sense of style that I like, and like
Yeah.
the things that she sells, which I do try to sell things that I personally like and would wear, or something that was previously mine. I would hope, and I think that people trust me that like I like this and like I would wear it. So like,
We're back.
hello, did we
That was,
freeze?
yeah, that was really weird. I had all my
That was
bars.
weird.
Okay, we're here. Maybe
Hey.
what you were saying, I make this joke sometimes that like the internet gods like interrupt when the energy is so good. If you don't mind, but I don't know, it said it was recording, but there's the possibility it didn't. So you were saying
Okay.
about, last thing I really heard was like BS meter
Yeah.
with,
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So I think that I try to like when I post something, even if the item in the post is something I'm selling, which it not always is. A lot of times I just post my
Um,
clothes because I mean that's I just post things that I like, but sometimes it is things that I'm selling. I won't say that it's for sale in the caption,
I've
usually.
noticed that.
Yeah, and I won't, I mean, my caption will just be something that I just thought of, something from that, like just really anything, but it won't be about that item being for sale. And I try to keep it authentic and yeah, just keep it not like I don't want people to feel like I'm selling to them when I am posting. So,
Right, right. Now,
mm,
do you, the difficult thing with Instagram is that you can't track click-throughs of links
right.
on your profile unless it's through like Linktree, which I don't know if you
Mm,
guys know what Linktree is. It's like one link that can have multiple links, but I think that there's friction with like people, people don't have large attention spans. So I don't think that they could
yeah.
like go through 5 different links. So you have your Depop link on your profile. So obviously
Mm,
people are seeing it. So, but have you been able to like really connect the dots between you make a post and it's like, I don't know, this is amazing. Like I'm wearing this like $5 red slip that I thrifted the other week,
hmm
and you might post that and sell it like within 2 hours. Like, are you able to connect the dots between the promotion on Instagram and Depop? Typically, do people tell you, or like, how does that show up?
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes. I mean, I can see that the things that I post on Instagram usually sell.
Yeah.
If they don't, I consider that maybe I priced it too high and I'll lower it.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, I think so. And also sometimes I'll put like in my packaging, I'll put like a note like I'd love to see how it looks. Here's my Instagram like handle. And so
Hmm.
they could go, and I've had people like tag me in a post of them wearing what they
That's
bought.
great.
So that's fun.
That's
So
great. Now, do
yeah.
people DM you to purchase?
Sometimes they do, and I will sell just from Instagram.
Okay.
Um, it I know people like doing that because I mean there's still fees with PayPal if you use PayPal, but
Yeah, yeah,
you
yeah.
can avoid the fees from websites, and I will do that. But a lot of times I'll just direct them to my Depop. So, and I mean
Right.
it says like usually in the stories, like my highlight, it says like link in my bio. So, and if they
Yeah.
went to my highlights, they probably scrolled past it. So,
Right. Right. Yeah. I've noticed there's a difference. We're like kind of all over the place, but that's sometimes what happens when we're really
Hmm.
diving deep into these like
Yeah.
nuanced things that people do to sell,
Hmm.
because they really are, like you said, it's like nuanced things that you've learned have worked for you.
Hmm.
I've noticed, yeah, your feed, which I want to talk more about your
Hmm.
presentation because it's awesome. Your feed, you're not selling, right? You're not.
Yeah.
It's just like magnetic attraction based on
Hmm.
the positioning of the art, quote unquote. But your highlights, you do talk about things that you're selling, correct?
Hmm.
So
Yes.
how, like, why do you think that the highlights are okay? Like, just in your opinion, why do you think that the
Hmm.
highlights are like okay to sneak in the I'm selling
Yeah.
caption?
Yeah, I felt like stories are more casual. And
Mm,
also just so if I post something like, hello, like this is a shirt that I'm selling, and then once it sells, it kind of no longer has like a purpose anymore on my page, you
wow.
know? So that it's just kind of like, oh, that shirt's gone. So, but like if there's a reason I post it, like I like this look or like whatever it is, then it still serves a purpose there. So,
And I want to talk, I should have actually brought up your Instagram. So sorry, guys, I have my computer in front of me. I want to talk about your captions because you are dang good.
thank you.
Like, I like I'm always striving for the perfect caption, but like I think sometimes I just
It's
come
hard.
across as being really hyper like, on social media.
That's okay.
I'm like, hey. So like here, I just okay. So wait, that's not like you have some really short ones.
Yeah,
Um,
it's honestly, it varies a lot. Sometimes it's like super long and like no one's gonna read
this
this whole thing, and other
this
times super short.
this right, but I think sometimes people do read the whole thing. So guys, just so that
Shocking.
again, if you're not following Meg Thrifts, which for the bazillionth time, go follow her. So this photo, she's wearing this little crop top and like the low rise jeans, which we all remember from the early 2000s. And she writes, workout motivation when low rise jeans come back in style. Might as well be ready for it. The early 2000s trend train is chugging along, and it's just inevitable, folks. So grab your bedazzler and get working on your fitness like Fergie. I died. I low key, because I remember Fergie was huge. I low key liked the
Oh
look,
yeah.
didn't think I would, but it's growing on me. Anyone else, or am I crazy? And she has, I mean, oh, I wrote Fergie the Queen. Um, I mean, you have like at least 20 comments here. Like people are really engaged. So, yeah, tell us, about your process for writing captions. Like, do you write them in your notepad, or like do they come up for you as you're like styling something and taking the photo? Like, how is it born?
Yeah, so I kind of try to, well, sometimes I think of it while I'm taking the pictures.
Yeah.
I'll make a connection but a lot of I do have like a note where I just kind of sporadically write things that I think of, and it kind of looks like a psychopath's like I don't know.
Totally.
It's like so random, but like just throughout the day if I think of something that you know, could work well or just like random thoughts, I write it and then I go through and read it and try to make connections. But I like to let it kind of happen naturally, and because when I sit down and try to force it, it's usually not as good. And I
Yeah.
can come up with something, but I'll usually just like if I can't think of anything, I'll just wait on it, and then eventually I'm like, okay, I gotta, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But I give myself the time to think of something. So,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, no, you do like here. What's your last one? Yes. She also wrote this post, and you had a lot of people like write back to what you were saying, which is, you guys ever struggle thrifting vintage tees? Sometimes, as in sometimes, I mean, most of the time, I just don't have the energy to dig through those bins. And when I do muster it up, I'll come out empty handed. I think that was like so relatable. So you were,
Mm-hmm.
again, low key. So she's talking, guys, about basically like, do you want to go to the Goodwill outlet and be searching and it's dirty for the one tee that you'll find in an hour? It's just a waste of time. Or do you want to go work with a company, which she mentions, a company called Ragstock Vintage, and just buy, in bulk? So you were sort of low key telling people how you buy and that you're a seller, but you were telling a
Yeah.
story. You
Mm-hmm.
weren't being direct, like, hi, my name is Meg
Yeah.
and I sell.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
I see how that, yeah. So anyway, I just wanted to kind of speak to that as another example. So I want
For
to
sure.
talk it sounds like you really are an artist, and I sort of had a intuition about that. And you're an artist in the sense that you were like, I can't force it, I can't sit down. Like,
I feel like such a hippie now for saying
don't worry, we're
force it.
all us vintage people are total hippies
Oh
at
yeah.
heart.
Like,
So long story short, you have fantastic lighting and a backdrop and all the things. Can you, to the best of your ability, explain to us your setup and why you feel that has put your best foot forward, on the Insta shop world?
yeah, for sure. So I think, I mean, I'm sure anyone reselling knows how important a picture is, the quality of the
Some people
picture.
don't.
It's
Some people,
That's surprising. It's like it's
some people don't.
everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you could have the best item, but if you take a bad picture,
Yeah.
it's so important. And I mean, I feel like we're so privileged because the iPhones they're coming out with these days, the technology like takes just amazing pictures. And you barely have to have many skills and you can just take great pictures. And I mean, you can go on Instagram, you can go on Pinterest and come up with a million different like item photography ideas. I personally,
Good tip.
I started out taking them on my phone. I don't
Okay.
have the newest phone or anything. I mean, it takes decent pictures. I think it's an 8.
Okay.
So, I
iPhone
mean, the
8.
camera's not bad, but it's not like amazing. I started out just taking on that, and I didn't have any lighting. I have these 3 windows right here. So at like 2 p.m., if I open them, the sun is there,
So
and it
this is
was
all
like
natural light.
it was for a
Oh, it
while.
was.
Now I got some. Well, my mom got me some lights, which was really sweet, and they're great. So now, and that's really helpful because the light, I did like the natural light, but it really limited me to like it has to be between 2 and 3 p.m. You know?
Rushed.
So,
Yeah.
exactly, and that was like pretty frustrating because I mean the lights here they just look bad. It's a bad tint, just like the lamps. It doesn't
Yeah.
look good.
No.
I mean, it's okay for taking pictures of items, but like for my Instagram posts, I want the natural light. But now I have the lights that I use, and I use my Canon now, which
Okay.
I put a self timer on it, and I think it's a Rebel T3i, so it's a nice camera. So.
When did you make the transition from iPhone to Canon?
Well, you could actually kind of weirdly see it on my Instagram when I started doing it.
I might look.
Yeah, so it's kind of changed. I used to have, I feel like a more coherent feed, and I worried a lot about like how everything looked together. And then recently I've been worried about it less, and that's partially me just feeling like I don't have the energy to stress about that as much anymore. And it just got too much of a thing, and I just didn't have the time. And so since I'm using my nice camera, I need to get a remote for it, but I can't take full body pictures because I have to be close enough to focus it.
I see that. Yeah.
So, but I'm okay with that, and I like what I'm doing now. So, I made this. I don't remember when exactly, but
I can see it. It happened. It was you were doing full bodies, and then you started doing half bodies.
Yeah, because I have to be close to the camera now.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
So okay, let's you brought it up. Let's talk about the grid. I've never had the time to build out a consciousness is the best word about how things piece together on my grid. Just the way I live my life and the fact that I've never tried to be like an influencer getting money from brands. But I do see the importance of it. I really do. It really again, guys, I think what's really difficult sometimes about the fashion world, especially if you're a thrifter, where you walk into a thrift store and everything's filthy and you're like, I'm not going to judge. Like, I'm still going to find beautiful treasure. But people are judging. They're having this immediate visceral reaction. So it is important to do what you can to make yourself seem professional, which seems trustable and worth investing money into, even if it's like $5 more than maybe someone else. So how do you like maintain, I mean, for lack of better words, like, do you post photos now with like this sort of like, okay, yesterday was green, so like today should be this? Like,
Yeah, well, so I do it. So basically, I used to really worry about it. And there's this
mhm.
app where you can
What's
kind
the
of
app?
move. It's called UNUM,
Okay.
Unnum. I don't know if you're supposed to say it
Unknown.
that way, but I think there's
UN.
multiple apps that do this.
Okay.
UNUM. Yeah.
Okay.
So
UNUM.
it's a grid and you can move things around basically and find a way that looks nice.
Yeah.
And I used to do 3 pictures for each outfit and do one far shot, one a close shot, and one
Right.
just kind of wiggle room, creative, like medium, I don't know, or another full body. And I used to like be very consistent with that, but it just got to be a lot of work and it got a little bit stressful. And then there was a period of time where I just didn't post for like almost a month because I was just so like, I don't have the energy.
Really.
So I was like, okay, I need to stop. Like, this isn't fun anymore. And I
Yeah.
can't, like, if it's not, then just stop worrying about it. And I'm still doing fine. And I mean, with this camera, I can't really do that. I mean,
Right.
I could get a remote and find a way, but um, yeah, so it is very important, but at the same time, it is and it isn't. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think like again, we spoke to Jamie of Coast to Coast Vintage,
hmm
and she uses Instagram to promote her site. She doesn't.
yeah.
I don't think she sells on any other sites. Um, and so, what she talked about was using her backyard and then trying to get a photo with some like beautiful backdrop. She's in California, and there's old theaters and beautiful homes and things like that. So she was able to
hmm
basically figure out like that works for her, but it's difficult. So
hmm
what you're doing, works for you. So it's really, guys, it's like if you really evaluate who you are and like what's available to you, it's figuring that out. I live in New York City. It's very, very difficult to take photos outside. So I
hmm
actually oftentimes take them on my couch with my ring light and my selfie stick. So it's like it's about, again, like just realizing like I can only do so much, but what can I do with what I have, which you've definitely figured out.
For sure.
Yeah. So let's talk about something that it's kind of a sensitive topic, but like when the algorithm that we know and love so dearly decides to like shoot us in the foot. It happens to me a lot, so it
Yeah.
might not be happening to you, but do you ever make posts and you're like, okay, it's 7 o'clock. I always get great traction at 7. It's a great photo. It's a great caption. But then you're like, what's happening? It's not being shown. Do you ever delete and then repost, or do you just let it go?
I usually just let it go. I have deleted things before, but it
Okay.
was because I was obsessing over the coherence of my feed, and I was like, this one doesn't look good here, and
Ah.
so I deleted it like a while later. So, but I
Okay.
no, I haven't because of that. And there are some posts like I'll get a ton of comments on one, and then the next one I'll get like 4,
Yeah.
and it's like what? And but I mean, I usually just don't worry about it. So
Right. Right. And are
yeah.
you doing anything? I guess like a conscious, active, intentional to grow your Instagram following.
Yeah, so I mean, it's kind of like do like what you want, you have to do as well. And
Yeah.
that's not the reason you do it, but I do have it's a really awesome community that I have and they're super
Yeah.
supportive and nice and I feel like they're my friends. Like I have Instagram friends,
Me
all
too.
over the world. It's so cool. Yeah.
Right.
And so I engage with them. Like I try my best, everybody's busy, but when I can, I'll go through and I comment on their posts, and I
Ah.
comment, I follow new people. I follow hashtags to discover new people, like hashtag thrift, like things that would bring up people that we have similar interests.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll follow them and I'll comment like, hey, I really like your posts, you know, and yeah, so I just try to do what I would hope other people would do for me. So while still being real, like if I tell someone I like their feed, it's
Mm-hmm.
because I actually like their feed, I don't
Right.
just,
You're not a bot.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I,
yeah.
I, and I think that's so valuable for people to recognize because we can just be so selfish where we're like, I just
Yeah.
want to put out stuff and get something out of it. But like, unless you become, Song of Style, just as an example, like if you're going to be a micro thrift influencer, because it's really a micro community, it's worth it to engage with your community. Again, unless you really, really want to be this huge influencer and you can't keep up with it. But if you have a healthy 5,000 to 10,000 followers, it's manageable. And I think what you've told us is it gives back the reward of customers. And has anyone ever purchased from you multiple times? Have you noticed that?
Actually, yeah, I've noticed a few people that have.
Cool.
And they'll leave feedback and say like, I would buy from her again, and then they actually do, and I'm like, oh hey, like thanks. If I notice sometimes, well, yeah, I usually notice. It's pretty, because when you're typing out, when you have to do the shipping and you type out the names and addresses, you remember more.
You remember.
Like. So,
you remember that address in Chicago,
yeah. So yeah.
So cool. So explain to us, like, with your it sounds pretty busy, like at least you have a lot going on. What's your resale schedule? How do you create the photos and the listings? What does that look like? And like, do you have goals every week or every month?
Yeah, well, some weeks are busier than others, but I try to, I split it up into like one day is I will like pick out the things I'm going to photograph that week, and I'll try to make it like all like these are all going to be t-shirts that like are going to look good with a pair of jeans, so that I can do it all in one easy shot.
Okay.
And I'll pick them and steam them because they're all wrinkly, so that takes a while.
I love
and then
steaming.
The next day it's actually really fun. I have a nice steamer,
Really
so it's very status. It's like,
you have a nice one.
Yeah.
What's your brand of choice?
What is it? I don't know. It's one of those standing ones.
I have a Jiffy. Yeah, I'm a full Jiffy believer.
Yeah, I actually need to get a handheld one for my travels. I've been wondering what brand to get.
Yeah. They spit more, but they're nice.
Oh yeah, Jiffy. Yeah. I'll have to remember that.
Okay. Yeah. Anyway,
so one day steaming and picking, and then the next day I photograph, which is a whole day. It actually doesn't take that long, but I just leave a whole day for that, and then the next 2 days, I'll I look through them, pick the best, and I post them for sale. And then within those days, I'll see like, oh, if there's one that stands out, that's like a good picture, I'll post it on Instagram as well.
Got it.
So.
Got it. And is this generally the weekend or?
No, it's usually, so my teaching job is, I get off I didn't before, but I started now getting off at 1:30. So I have the afternoons. So I do it in the afternoons, basically.
That's awesome.
And I try to get it done before the weekend because I've noticed I make more sales on the weekends. So I want to get things posted by then.
That's a great tip. That's a great tip. Yeah. Incredible. I felt like I had another. Oh yeah. Do you have goals? Do you? I mean, some people do. They're like, oh, I want to make $3. I mean, I do. I'm a goal junkie. I'm like, I want to make $300 this week, or post 30 listings. Do you give yourself goals?
Yes, I do. Like, they're kind of loose goals because I do. I'm like, if I say like I'm gonna take these pictures today, then like I do it. Like I'm like, this week I'm going to do these things. I don't know if I have a selling goal, like money-wise, because, I mean, it's kind of, I feel like the more things I post, the more money I will make, so it's kind of like, it's hard for me to predict how much I'll do in a month. Maybe I should start thinking about that more. That could be good.
It is good to, like you said, notice trends, so, I doubled my listings this week and I made another $150. So
yeah, for sure.
So let's talk really quickly. Me being a millennial, I feel like I'm constantly learning. Like you mentioned this app that I'd never heard of. I'm constantly learning things on my phone that can improve my digital life. Are there any apps that you highly recommend that have helped you on your journey?
Yeah, that one. If you are interested in working on your feed overall, I do like that one. I haven't tried any others for that purpose, but I know there's a few like Google, like Instagram feed, like apps.
Instagram feed app. Yeah.
Yeah, but I like that one.
Great app.
Yeah, and I usually, for my editing, I use Visco.
Visco.
Um,
Okay.
yeah, and I do the same filter for every picture to keep things the same. So
Mm-hmm.
I think it's AL1, which is a LED softener.
Okay.
So that's just, if anybody wants to know, AL1, that's what I use. And I just brighten it. So
Okay. Got it. Got it. So that it's still as true to the real color.
yeah, and I don't want to edit it too much, because I think I just personally don't like that. Um,
Yeah.
but I also don't want to not edit it because I like things to look brighter. I just like the bright look. I think it looks clean, but everybody has a
Yeah.
different style. So,
Totally. Totally. And
hmm
now, is there like, when it comes to posting on Instagram, are there like dead zone times for you? You won't post, and then times that are good for you when you will
yeah,
post.
I've been like, I've wanted sometimes, like, I'll be up late in the night and I'm like, I just want to post now, but then I'm like, "Ugh, don't do that because it's like, it's midnight and it's just like, you just know it's not going to go well for you. So I do wait until the morning, I would say between 11 and until about 8, maybe.
Are good for
I
you.
like midday, I would say, is usually when I try to. Um, for some reason, I don't. Sundays are not great. Haven't been great for me. Which
Sundays.
it
Yeah.
seems like it would be because people are on their phones, but maybe they're busy working. I don't know. But Sundays, I
I,
guess
I think
every crowd is different. But
it's so different. I tell people just test
yeah,
and understand what works for you. Like if I post between 12 and 4, I'm screwed. Like
really, yeah, it's weird. Everyone's different.
nothing. If I post
Hmm.
at 10 p.m.,
Whoa.
it's like every person who follows me is awake, or the West Coast, because there's also that
Right.
to keep in mind. But
True.
yeah, it will drive you crazy if you're like, oh my god, I figured this out. But I think in general, there's like better times for for you, as compared to others.
Hmm.
Um, so okay, that's good to know. All right, so we've gone over so many questions. I tend to jump around because I get really excited.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure that there isn't anything that I asked. Um, oh well, there is the really important question of what is the future. Oh, we started talking about it, but I think this is like it's a very deep psychological conversation, and we can only get a few minutes out of you about it. But like you obviously, as we discussed, you have a brand where you're lightly letting people know that you sell
Hmm.
secondhand vintage goods on Depop. Why do you personally think that there's potentially like, I mean, we talked about like the BS meter, but do you feel like people on Instagram don't want to be sold to, and that there is some sort of like overkill there, like there's too many people selling? So, like, what's your philosophy? That's what I'm trying to ask.
So, yeah, I could. So, when I think Instagram, so there are a lot of Insta shops that are successful, and I've seen a lot of them, and I follow a lot of them. But
Yeah,
for me, when I get on Instagram, I don't get on to be marketed to.
yeah,
And I think that, like, especially this day and age, people are just so tired of being marketed to, and they feel like everybody wants to sell to them, like nobody actually cares about them as a person, and like
cares about
they're
them.
just
Yeah.
tired of it. I mean, I
Hmm.
am. So I don't want to get on my Instagram and see someone like who just wants my money, you know?
Right.
So, and I assume that about other people. So I try to, like, you know, these are people that I'm not, like, these are people, you know, and I want to connect with them. And if they want to buy from me, that's great. Um, but yeah, I don't think people want to be sold to. I think that like, everybody wants authenticity. I think that's
Great
the
word.
big thing these days.
Yeah.
It's like really important.
Great word. Great word. Yeah, and it can be a challenge if you have a busy life and you don't have another,
Yeah.
let's be real, hour and a half. I mean, my screen time is off the charts
Hmm.
on my iPhone. But you're right. It's like, yeah, it's it's a marketing term, no trust like. Um,
Yeah.
and so people, after that relationship is formed of no trust like, they are more likely to buy from you based on the fact that they trust and like you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. And I think
So
that it goes back, like, also, it's like, why do people buy from small businesses as opposed to a big
Right.
business? Because they, you know, maybe quality, and they like want to support people that they like and are similar to them. And I think that like resellers have something special that like big businesses want, which is like we're actually a
Personality.
person. Yeah,
Hmm.
and we have personality and we can legitimately connect with people. And
Hmm.
businesses know that's how you make sales is through personal connections. And
Yeah.
lucky for us, we are people. So we
Yeah.
can do that, you know, just naturally. Like we shouldn't try to do what they want to do that. So why would we not do that? You know?
Exactly.
That's
Exactly.
so
And you don't have to
yeah.
create $1 billion marketing campaign
Yeah.
to do it either. You can just be like,
Mm-hmm.
hey,
Hey,
here I am
it's me.
with
Yeah.
my dog in
Yep.
Bali. So I want to ask one final question because we've been chatting about all these different things. It's been so great, and again, I really love your model as it currently stands. But perhaps there might be a future to Meg Thrifts. So what is, in your words, the future?
Yeah, so that's actually something that I'm trying to figure out. That's a good question.
Oh, well, we can
So,
chat.
yeah, so I do resell and I teach.
Hmm.
I do a lot of things, and I want to travel for a while. So
The
that
T
might be
word.
a problem for reselling. Although,
Mm.
although I do want long term, I want to keep doing it, but I might have to take a little break. Um, but the good thing about that is my Instagram is not just for reselling, so I can just keep being me and posting my thrifted outfits and just keep
Ah,
it going,
winning.
hopefully. Yeah. I mean, I haven't thought about how that is going to look exactly because I normally post in my studio, this room.
Yes,
So, so if
it's a
I
great
start
studio.
posting, yeah, if I start posting like just out and about, it will be a change.
Yeah.
Um, so things will change, but and I might take a break from reselling if I travel, but long term, I will keep reselling and hopefully growing. So
You can do something similar to what I did and buy.
yeah, I was gonna say that. Yeah, yeah, that would be awesome. To get things and like resell them from other places, that would be awesome.
Yep. Yep. Can
Mm.
totally do that. Totally
Yeah.
do that. But yeah, I like what you're saying because you basically didn't back yourself up and you didn't back your this valuable asset you have, which is your social media currency. You didn't back yourself into a wall where like you have to just be a
Yeah.
seller. You can also be yourself. And as
Yeah.
you shared, potentially, you're a healthy, like almost 3,000 followers now, but very, or 2,000, but very active. I mean, statistically, it's nuts, like I never get 300 likes, and I have 6,000, but a lot of those people are just dead followers from years. So you have a very active, yeah, platform. Anyway, long story
Yeah.
short, you could double it just because you decided to do 6 weeks somewhere, like what, I don't know.
Hmm.
Anyway, I'm a very motivational person, but I just love that this business allows for that creativity, and that's why we do these learn
Hmm.
and earn interviews, guys, so you can see what other resellers have done that is creative, and perhaps you can take something from that for your own life. So Meg, is there anything we didn't cover that you would want to share, like if you were talking to a mentee about starting a Instagram shop online?
Hmm. I think that so if you're starting one, I think it's important to have like a clear vision of what you're going to do. You know,
Mm-hmm.
like, am I going to be an Insta shop? Like, is my goal to sell, or is my goal to be like me as a thrifter who also sells? So
Right.
if you don't define that, it's going to get confusing for people who follow you because when you follow an Insta shop, you're like, okay, I know that I'm going to be sold to. But if you follow a
Right.
person and they start trying to sell to you, people aren't going to like that. Even if you're a wonderful, excellent, like you're a great person, people aren't going to like it. So I think you need to have a clear goal. And I think the other thing is like know your brand so that you can be consistent because people want to trust you and like your style and they want to know what that is.
Mm-hmm.
So know your brand, which I mean, what you're selling might not be yourself, but your brand, what you're selling. But also know your personal brand. Like if you're like I went through a phase in my life where I was like kind of confused about what my personal style is.
Got it.
Um, just following the whatever trend. But I think that taking the time and effort to like figure out like, okay, this is what I like, that like this is I like it, but maybe it's not something for me. Like go through the effort of figuring that out, I guess.
Go through the growing pains is what you're
Yeah,
saying.
the pains.
Just
exactly.
you got to go through it. Can't go around
Yeah.
it. I
Mm-hmm.
love it. Well, I'm so excited to see what's next for you, Meg, and thank you for
Thank you so
saying
much.
yes to being in Thrift Boss Babes. And I didn't see any questions, so if there's any questions after the interview, I'll just check in with you and we can answer them here. But that was great.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. This has been great. I love talking, meeting you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
We'll
All
stay
right, girl.
connected.
I will see you on the Insta, and everyone, for like the 6th time, go follow Meg at Meg Thrifts. All right,
Thank
girl.
you.
We'll see you
Bye.
later. Bye,
See ya.
Meg. Thank you.